So, I didn't upload a video on Friday since I wanted to try out a new type of video. Though for that to work, I needed the video to at least get some comments to come in. This won't become a regular series, though it would heavily depend on the comment section of each video. The plan is to take comments, as many as I can, then respond to the points they raised or just react to them. So some might be long, some might be short. I call this series On Full Display. If you enjoy content like this, where we take a look at claims made about Christianity, then see what scripture and logic has to say, drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Welcome to Veritas. Although this video only got 2 comments, they're actually very good comments. Well, kind of. The basic premise of the video is that you can't judge God's moral character unless you have a moral basis to ground your morality in. The first comment didn't seem to fully understand that point. First, yes, you have the ability to do as you like. I can point to a rock and say, bad rock. It doesn't mean the rock is bad, unless I have some reason to base that in. Let's say I was a geologist and the rock contains some unknown poisonous material in its composition. I have both the authority and evidence to back my claim. Atheists will jump on the opportunity to point out problematic verses to demonstrate their point. They often forget 2 issues though. Firstly, if I was a psychologist, you wouldn't trust my judgment on the rock without proper justification. Which brings me to the second point. If I showed you evidence of silicone in the rock, that wouldn't be evidence that it's poisonous, even if I was a geologist. Your trust me bro still isn't good enough. In that same way, if an atheist wants to criticize God's moral character, they first have to prove their authority, then they need to justify their claim. You as an atheist claim that Psalms 137 is evidence of God's character. Firstly, you haven't even shown me what wrong is according to you. Then you need to explain why that model can be applied across all time and places. Then justify your claim with evidence, which you lack both of. Using a misattributed verse shows me 2 things. 1, you don't even understand the text you're citing, and secondly, that you are unable to justify your authority. Because of your lack of understanding of the text, I'm not even going to respond to this part. The second comment kind of understood the assignment better. Good on you for listening. Though, as you'll quickly realize, they didn't listen well enough. They cite that evolutionary and social dynamics produce the following traits: empathy, sense of cooperation, compassion, sense of justice, and I'm assuming these are just examples, not a definitive list. They then make the following claim: because society that helps their weak members to survive hard times is itself more fit to survive. These traits generate behavior that we call moral behavior. This is all objective, as it is a part of nature. This is demonstrably false. Sparta practiced infanticide, actively killing the weak, yet they prospered. What about the Aztec Empire? They committed extreme violence, yet still prospered. Or what about the Austrian painter? Germany was militarily superior for a time, and their population was at its core cohesive. There are many more examples I can use, but you get the point. Evolution also produced tribalism, aggression, violence, rape, genocide, and so on. Under this model, anything is acceptable if we all agree it is. So my reply of, so whatever we feel like, yes, is very true. They claim that because something is natural, it's objective, which makes no sense, because first they appeal to social contracts, which by definition cannot be objective, but then claim it's objective, just because it's from nature. Well, by that definition, if you rape someone, it's not objectively wrong, because many societies didn't punish crimes like these or made the burden of proof so difficult you can't punish it, such as in Islam, where 2 women are needed to testify against 1 man. It also ignores the various other problems with this model, but claiming it's objective is absurd by any standard. Also, not American, not even close. So basically, to strawman the first comment here, it's impossible to prove God, so he doesn't exist. Now, before you go yapping in the comment section, the comment admits it here. No argument for any God that is both valid and sound, and no verifiable evidence of top-down ontology. A God is not even a live option. Firstly, the claim is made that there is no sound and valid argument, which is demonstrably false. The ontological arguments are all structurally valid, the cosmological arguments are all structurally valid, the moral arguments are all valid. The only reason you say they aren't valid is because you disagree with the premises. That doesn't automatically mean it's not valid. Your opinion isn't valid here, clearly. The second claim being made is just as nonsensical. The claim is no verifiable evidence of top-down ontology. If you want verifiable and empirical evidence of God, then I would like to invite you to show me verifiable and empirical evidence of my mind or even your mind existing. It's impossible. So then by this logic, you need to reject your mind and my mind, which invalidates this entire conversation, and ultimately having this conversation means nothing. So here we are, a perfect example of incoherent new atheist babble. Yes, the point of the philosophical arguments isn't for the Christian God's existence, but we need to first establish that a God exists to begin with. Are you suffering some kind of brain damage, my friend? Or has new atheism finally rotted your mind to this? You won't even be able to produce a single serious debater that ever said, this argument will prove the existence of my specific God existing in one argument. That's not even how science works. See, at least this new atheist example of brain rot can admit that objectively nothing's right or wrong, which then begs the question, why even try to attack God's moral character, since your standard would include his morals, since from his subjective opinion, he's morally good. So you must then concede that he is morally good under different moral frameworks. You are a spoiled child throwing a tantrum because daddy didn't give you whatever you want when you wanted. Perhaps grow up before attempting to approach the intellectual scene. The third video really produced the best comment of this entire series. All the comments so far have actually demonstrated the truth of this video perfectly. We have the clearly dogmatic belief that there is no valid evidence for God. We can see the slow decline of cognitive abilities with baseless insults. We have seen various idiotic behavior that can only be seen as mind-blowing. But there is still more to come. Like this one, just saying I'm indoctrinated. I would very much like to know how, who, and when. I'm unaware of this fact, but if I'm indoctrinated, the new atheists are in such a new league that it needs its own new word. Then of course, we have the classic terrible, without adding anything of substance. Then we have the I clicked the video, but like, I don't know what you said crowd. All I need to do is read my own reply to this one, which said, you've gone the whole video without listening when I said I use two terms interchangeably and that definitions are discussed in the first part of a 3-part miniseries. Or did you miss the part 3 in the title, thumbnail, description, or entire introduction? They went through the entire video without hearing. However, this is a 3-part series, so be sure to check out the first part right up here or in the description below. Or, New Atheist, check part 1 for that definition. I could go on. Thank you so much for watching the video. Like I said in the comments of the video that spawned this entire series, this turned into an experiment. That experiment led up to the final conclusion of part 3. Each video producing comments that only further proved my point. I didn't cherry pick comments, those were all that were available from writing the script of this video on 14 February 2026. I hope that you enjoyed this new type of video. If you did, drop a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I release the next regular video. Drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on New Atheism. As always, Remember Acts 17:11. I am Brandon, this was Veritas.